Hello everyone again. We're continuing with our vocation series and discovering or hearing our different conference as they come and visit us here at St. John's University. And today we have with us Patrick McDevitt, who, as we know, is now the president of All Hallows. And we're so glad that you're here with us and sharing. Thank you for taking this moment to share with us and sharing a little about your vocation story.
Sure. Happy to do it. Thanks for the welcome. I always say I was kind of raised among Vincentians. I was taught by the Sisters of Charity of Leavenworth. And the first saints that I knew about were Vincent and Elizabeth. And my grandmother lived across the street from DePaul University. And every Saturday my father and I would go to her house because she had a rooming house for men. And rooming house for men in Chicago, at least at that time, were basically people who would be homeless, older men who had no other place to go. So she ran the rooming house across the street from DePaul, and my job was to clean some of the common areas every Saturday. So I had contact with the Vincentians in that way. And I went to the Vincentian High School Seminary, which, by the way, I went because it was a small student body and I knew I could play sports and get on the team. And so that's how it started. And really the beginning of the vocation was during, in your junior year of high school, you had to do a service. You had an apostolic service in your city. And I visited old people in an old person's home, and I would just go around talking to them, and there was something that came over with me that I liked this, and there was something that I brought to them, and I knew it wasn't me, even at a young age. It was something else, and it was really the person of Christ. And then I went to Perryville, and even my parents talk about this. I never said I wanted to be a priest. I just kept going along in the seminary. Never words out of my mouth that I want to be a priest until my junior year in college, and I got an opportunity to teach at one of our rural parishes. In Perryville, we had a lot of these rural missionary parishes. And I was assigned to teach religious education in one for kindergarten kids. And my first teaching assignment was 15 kindergarten children. And I still remember being scared to death. And but I went in and I experienced something that was great. Matter of fact, I was one of the few people that wanted to go a second year at that parish, because I was beginning to develop relationships with people in the parish. And I get that sense of community and that sense of leadership and being a part of that. And that was a seed that really inspired me. And I think my own, I've been a priest now 26 years, and my own journey even in the priesthood has been one of emerging surprises. I started out as a parish priest, and that's what I thought I'd do for the rest of my life. And the Vincentians at that time would say, he's an educator. He is not. He's a parish priest. And so my first 3 years as a parish priest was in Cape Girardeau, in the Western Province, our first mission outside of Perryville, and it had such Vincentian history. And it was a parish that had such great Vincentians, especially in recent history when I first got there. So it was a very, if you will, a progressive parish, very lay involved. It was very dynamic, and I absolutely loved it. And I was supposed to be reassigned after my first 3 years for another 3 years. I was supposed to do 6 years. And I got a call from the provincial about a month after my reassignment. As a young priest, I didn't know that, the provincial's calling you to his office. There's something he wants. So I got up there, and I still remember him saying, you're doing a terrific job. I said, well, thank you. He says, you like it? I said, I love it. He said, we're moving you. And I'm like, he said, we want you to go to the Kendrick Glen Seminary and work at the seminary because you love being a priest. And he said, we thought you'd bring that. He says, you're our first draft choice. And I knew at the time they were asking Vincentians throughout the province. They must have asked 10 of them. And they all said no, and they came to me. And so I told him, I said, I'm not the first draft choice. And he says, if you say yes, you will be the first draft choice.
Right.
And so I said yes to it. And there was, Ron Ramson was my formation director, Father Ron Ramson. And I remember when I was in formation, he said to us, be very cautious in saying no, especially when you're a young Vincentian, because God will open up new things for you that you couldn't imagine. Yes. So I went to the college seminary. I was there 5 years, and I came to understand education. And I also found that I had a gift for teaching and a gift for education. and yet I still felt this real pastoral call. And so I was one of these guys, so when I was ordained in '86, I said, I will never sit in a classroom as long as I live. I will never be a student again. I put the school behind me. But then I had this great desire to go back to school and to further my own education in order to be more effective in education. Because I really got to see, I think, firsthand how, as a Vincentian, systemic change in education is systemic change. And with my pastoral background, I could always keep my hands definitely in the needs of the poor, which is so important for us, and yet make a systemic, substantial difference in the world. And that really opened up for me too, because, and again, what I was planning on doing was going back to the seminary. And but then when I got my degree, I was asked to go to Colorado to do a project with DePaul, with 2 dioceses in Colorado, in doing a leadership and policy study program with DePaul in these 2 dioceses. It was a real missionary kind of experience, and education, and also leadership. All of a sudden I had to put together a program, and so it really stretched me, but I just enjoyed being stretched in that way. And then when that program ended in 3 years, then I went to DePaul, and I spent 9 years at DePaul teaching in the classroom, and really, received tenure, learned how to do research, and I really did enjoy that. But again, now I find myself in another place. I'm doing leadership in Ireland, and I felt that call. The call was really both to the people of Ireland, and there's a real need there in the church, but also in terms of our own community, a call for us to, the leadership. As vocations are challenged, we need men to be in leadership in our works and all that. So I felt that call, and it really has been fulfilling. And I'd say to anybody discerning a vocation is be very reluctant to say no. And because I just think that it was so wise of Ron Ramson. And your yes will open up things to you, and it has opened up for me things that I never, ever, ever in my wildest imagination think I would ever do or be. And I think that's the power of the vocation, and to know that power and that experience helps make changes in other people's lives, people we don't even know their names, is an incredible gift. So I just say stay open to it, and don't be reluctant to shut down and listening to where God's calling you. So that's kind of my story, and that's kind of my advice. And,
that's beautiful. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And again, I admire people like yourselves who really do this work. I was in formation work also, with the community the last several years, and I just think it's important work, but it's very hard work. And so I really do admire the work you do, and I wish you the best of luck with your work.
Well, thank you for sharing. I think it's very important us to know each other's works, because many times we're either, like you say, that people see as you have some provincials that see you as parish work, education work, whatever it may be, and we're kind of always set in that stage, of always working in the same field. But we have to be open, like you say,
Right.
When you're invited, this is God calling you to somewhere else, and it's an opportunity to grow and to share and also to give. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. A favorite verse from me, from C.S. Lewis, is God, He's wild, And I think that is true about God. It is true about the vocation and the gift. It's wild.
It's an adventure.
And oh yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you, Patrick. Thank you again for sharing. God bless you in your ministry. How long have you been there now in All Hallows?
1 year.
1 year.
I'm entering my 2nd year now.
So many more blessings for you, and
Thank you.
And good luck with that new work that you have.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.